What is Monster Hunter World? And should I buy it? I hear these questions being thrown around a lot. And to be honest, not too many people have answers for these questions, at least not around where I live. Well, in truth, outside of Japan, Monster Hunter's never been very popular. It's slowly been growing in popularity here in the West, but it's been very slow. Very, very slow. To the point where I very rarely ever find people that even know what Monster Hunter is. When I go and talk to people at my job or in certain schools, I will always ask, do you guys know what Monster Hunter is? Most people say no. In my entire life that I've played Monster Hunter, from the age of 10 to my age of 27 now, I have talked to so many people, and I've only once had a group of friends that knew what Monster Hunter was. And it was in my college, and that was just once. In the entire 17 years I've known about Monster Hunter, I've only met a small handful of people that played it. Once! That's insane! What I'm trying to say is, unless you've gotten into Monster Hunter by yourself just out of pure curiosity, or has had someone else help you into it by teaching you, chances are you probably either never heard of Monster Hunter or probably never gotten into it yourself just because it's a little too hard of a skill gap to get into. But recently, Monster Hunter's had a humongous spotlight placed upon it. Thanks to all the great promotion, all the great betas, all the amazing trailers they've put out, it is being focused on more than ever. So for all of the new people that are trying to get into this game and are wondering, should they get this? The answer is yes. But I'm going to explain exactly what Monster Hunter is, down to its main core. Monster Hunter World. This game is, well, about hunting monsters, really. That's the main driving force behind the game, and it's the main loop of the game that they keep bring you back for more, constantly, and it's just amazing and fun. However, everything around the hunting is what helps keep it up. Monster Hunter World boasts a fun, immersive combat system that rewards you for all the hours and training you put into it. The longer you spend learning a monster, and the more you spend training with a weapon, the more it's going to change the outcome of your fight. When you are done killing a monster, however, you can carve out of its body and create a new armor set that gives you the strengths and weaknesses of said monster, along with a bunch of awesome skills from that monster as well. The game is also filled with a bunch of different maps. From a giant forest with a humongous tree in the center of it, a humongous coral reef with no water in the area, and an area completely full with scavengers eating each other's dead bodies. Still gross to me, by the way. And there are many, many more. All these maps add up to a large, living world full of animals, monsters, that are just running around trying to kill each other and eat you. Speaking of monsters, they're actually the star of the show. Starting off with a giant sponge lizard that just swallows all animals whole. A giant purple T-Rex that honestly reminds me of Barney the dinosaur if he had a bad attitude. To a giant fire dragon that does not give a fuck about Barney's attitude problem and just throws him off the giant tree. There are so many monsters in this game that I really can't get into all of them. Just know that there's huge amounts of diversity in these monsters with so many differing combat styles that it's kind of really hard to get into. And there's even elder versions of these monsters. Giant, old, smart dragons that will fuck you up because they have gone into plenty of fights with other hunters and have learned from their past and can honestly predict what you're going to do, and it's terrifying, but that just makes it more fun to fight these things. It's just fantastic. But that just makes it more fun when you kill them, take their bones, and make armor and weapons out of them. Speaking of weapons, oh god, where do I even start with this? Okay, there are 14 diverse and amazing weapons, all useful in their own unique way. Starting with the very noob-friendly Sword and Shield. It's fast, it's durable, it's trusty, and it's one of the only weapons in the game that you can eat, drink, and use items while it's still unsheathed. Next up, the fast and crazy dual blades. For those of you that love speed, love craziness, this is your weapon. It is got a demon mode where it just goes bonkers. It's fast, strong, and really, it's just fun to use. The slow and powerful greatsword. This was my first original favorite weapon when I first started playing the game, and I still love it to this day. It's so powerful, it hits hard, and it's got multiple charge attacks. It also boasts a great block mechanic. It is, however, really, really slow, and it's not exactly good for noobs, but it is really, really powerful. Next up, the Lance. Strong, sturdy, dependable. The Lance is amazing. It boasts a counter, it has an awesome charge attack, and honestly, it's a good stand your ground weapon, if you ask me. As well as its little brother, the Gunlance. The Gunlance is about the same as the Lance, except it has, instead of charging attacks and a counter, it has explosives. Beautiful, beautiful explosives. Graceful, nimble, and hard to pin down, the Insect Glaive. The Insect Glaive is one part insect, one part glaive, essentially. The insect that you have on your arm can go out to bite the monster and bring back extract that can boost your abilities. It gives you buffs, it can also give the monster debuffs, and is very, very, very fun to use. It's one of the harder weapons to get to know in this game, but it is so rewarding once you start learning how to use it. It's a very airborne weapon, so for those of you like speedy, smacking around kind of weapons, this is for you. Now for the support weapon in Monster Hunter. It is the Hunting Horn. It sounds beautiful, it's great to have around, and can boost all of your friends' abilities. You have multiple different songs to give your friends either more damage, more HP, resistances to certain attributes. You can cure people, you can heal people, you can take away their being on fire. It's a hunting horn. It's amazing. It's so useful, and I highly recommend at least every hunting party has at least one person that can use the hunting horn. It's very good. Next up, the swift and cool as fuck Longsword. The Longsword, the edgelord's best friend. Anyone who loves katanas is probably gonna use this weapon. It's got a counter and an amazing dive attack that does so much damage. Honestly, it's one of the most dependable weapons in the game, and it's, for the most part, pretty easy to use. It's one of the middle ground weapons that isn't too overly complicated, but everyone can use a little practice with it before they start to really master it. Next up, my personal favorite, the destructive and savage Charge Blade. It is just so cool, and I love it. It comes as a sword and shield and turns to a giant fucking axe that can shoot out elemental attacks. It's honestly my new favorite weapon, and I love it. The next up, the switchable switch axe. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. The switch axe is the older brother to the Charge Blade. It has two forms, a giant axe and a awesome giant sword mode. They both have their different abilities, different attributes to them. You kind of got to figure out which one you want to use more than the other one, but they're both very useful and really cool. The broadsword version of it cuts through pretty much anything, ignores armor, it doesn't really bounce off of anything, and the axe form is faster and a little more nimble than the broadsword form, so I highly recommend using both to kind of figure it out what you're doing with it, but it's really cool. Check it out. And now for the powerful and ranged heavy bowgun, and its lighter variant, the light bowgun. Both of these are amazing in their own way. The heavy bowgun is much more powerful when it comes to hitting, but it's slower, and it kind of has a block. It's a little random. Sometimes it'll block, sometimes it won't. It's a automatic thing. You really have no control over it, but it hits so hard. It's a very powerful weapon, and it has different bullet mechanics, and it's just really, really fun to use. I, at first, did not really like ranged weapons until Worlds came out, and now I'm in love with it. The light bowgun uses much more elemental type attacks, and can set up traps. It's very, very cool, very light on your feet, and you can also dodge, duck, and weave. It's awesome. I highly recommend it as well. As well as its other version, it's just a bow. I don't know what to say. The bow is awesome, though. It's fucking great. But it's just, I go from heavy bowgun, light bowgun to bow. So it's kind of hard to explain. The bow is just a bow. It's really what it is, but it's very useful. It's faster than the light bowgun and the heavy bowgun. So it's a good middle ground for people who don't really know which one to pick. I would highly recommend the bow just because it has heavy hitting attacks, and it's also very light on its feet. It also has an amazing exploding arrow thing that goes right through all monsters. It's really cool. And finally, the monster head-busting, headache-causing hammer. The hammer is a hammer. It's literally, that's the name of the weapon. It's a hammer. It's just a hammer. But oh my god, is it so good. If you hit monsters in the head enough times, you can actually KO them, causing them to get debuffed, and they'll fall over, and they become susceptible to multiple different attacks. And it's really good for cracking and breaking shells. All of these weapons are amazing in their own way. They all have strengths and weaknesses, you just need to figure out what they are. They're also really good for fighting different monsters as well. I highly recommend you at least get comfortable with one of these weapons. Monster of the World also comes with a training room. For all of you that need to train and practice with all these new weapons, you can go into the training room, have unlimited bullets for your guns, unlimited arrows for your bow, and have as much fun as you want, practice with all the weapons. It even shows you all the combos you can do. Another new thing that's come around for Monster Hunter is a much more in-depth story. So in previous Monster Hunter games, the stories have been kind of just kind of there. In this one, they seem to be focusing and putting more eggs in their basket for story than in previous incarnations of the game. So expect a lot more cutscenes, more focused narrative. I have not played the game quite yet, so I can't be sure that the story is good or not. I'll let you guys know when my thoughts on it come out. But for now, as far as I can tell, they've been focusing quite a lot on the story, and I cannot wait to try it out. And finally, all of these monsters, all of these mechanics are all available online. So if you want to play by yourself, you can. If you want to play with your friends, you can. And if you want to play with strangers, you can. You can also create your own guilds, join guilds, make hunting parties, do this all together, and make a great community for Monster Hunter. Hunt together and fight together. Monster Hunter is an amazing game that helps build an amazing teamwork-based community, and I highly recommend you guys join in and have fun yourselves. Hey guys, this is John. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me this entire video. It took me a really long time to record this. I kept messing up and having to go back and a bunch of other stuff, but I had a lot of fun making this video, and I also wanted to let you guys know that I am making my own guild in Monster Hunter World. It's gonna come out. I'll make a separate video for it, but I'm gonna be doing it. If you guys want to join me, I'll be on the PS4. Let me know if you guys want to join the guild, and let me know in the comments, obviously. And eventually, when the other video comes out, when I officially make the guild, I'll let you guys know. We're planning on calling it Trident Hunters, and I want you guys to come all hang out with us there. We can all play together and have fun, and yeah. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share, tell us the comments, you know, all that stuff. And if you enjoy this that much, please check out our Patreon, maybe give us $1. It'd really help us out. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys!